go vaccine, right?
Yes.
Let's touch on that for a moment, because one of the things I've noticed since I was diagnosed, had it my entire life, only got diagnosed about a year ago.
Right.
It makes everything, it makes sense now. Everything makes sense. But one of my suspicions, because I'm seeing a lot of people from New Zealand, which is my native country, we all got, I think we were like the testing ground for vaccines.
Right.
Often small
petri
countries
dish.
the petri dish for vaccines. There's so many New Zealanders coming out with ADHD now, and and so tell me about what you think with the vaccine side of things, because that was one of my suspicions. When I reckon it's the vaccines.
Yeah. Now, this is a very hot topic, very controversial. I don't want you getting hate mail. I certainly don't want any hate mail. Direct it elsewhere, please. But certainly, I sold vaccines. I was in the pharmaceutical industry for 8.5, 9 years, and I worked for the big companies who sold vaccines. That was my role, so I know them pretty well. There has not been, in the space that they're being launched, enough longitudinal data. And the most recent one, the COVID vaccine, has still at a phase 3. So with a pharmaceutical agent, it goes through 4 phases. The first one is, does it have any impact at all on, is there a benefit? It might be a plant substrate or it might be a chemical discovery. Is there any benefit? 2, can we emulate this? 3, let's take it to human population, see what happens. Let's collect adverse events and see if we make it to a phase 4. And phase 4 is when you get large population cohorts and see what it does in that part. Now, the most recent vaccines that everyone's talking about, is it still at phase 3? It hasn't even got to phase 4. And I suspect in 30 years' time we'll go, oh, my God. But, we haven't even done that with a lot of the other vaccines like Gardasil. So Gardasil's one for HPV, human papillomavirus. It's been around now. I think it launched maybe early 2000s, pushed out in schools en masse for young girls and young boys. The side effects are reported to the CDC, which is an offshoot of the FDA, are massive. So it's not surprising we're seeing this massive rise in my understanding of what ADHD is, how genes can be activated by vaccines. So that's a really key point. We have a gene makeup, like our DNA. If something really what's the word? Disrupts it. Yeah, that's a good word. Disrupts it or expresses it. So that means switches it on. Suddenly you've got this soup of symptoms that have been activated that might have been dormant your whole life, that may have never had an impact. But now because you've activated it with a gene expressor, being either a food or a vaccine, you're now dealing with the fallout, which is the toxic soup of terrible adverse events. And people are not really getting the solutions because the causes aren't being really discussed transparently enough.
Yeah. And I can understand why, why it would be a subject that no one really wants to go down the path of. Because what if, that is the cause of it? Let's just say, they're saying it is. Some studies out there.
Plenty of professors are saying it is.
Then it didn't need to happen, essentially. But in saying that, though, maybe they've done a great thing, because ADHD can be great and it can be a superpower. And,
we've created all these super gifted people.
That can't function in day-to-day life. But